Hello, Abba. Fantastic to see you again. I hope you had an amazing week, and I'm super happy to be here with you this morning.
So great to see you again for our weekly show.
Yes. So today we have a very nice topic. I wanted to discuss with you the importance of networking because in the over the course of the last couple of months, I've had several conversations with people in business, but also outside business, many people who have just arrived to the UAE, but also people who have been here for a while. And they all seem to have the same challenge, which is how do I get to know the right people? How do I foster relationships? But also, how can I make sure that I don't spend the majority of my time for networking? And they mentioned different examples, starting with I don't know which networking events to go to. I don't know how to actually communicate with people I don't know. But a very, very big chunk was how do I build my presence on social media platforms like LinkedIn, for example? And then I was thinking of you, and I thought, well, if you would ask Abba, I'm quite sure she has a few ideas for you.
Yeah, so the power of the personal brand is just becoming more and more now as we get into an age of AI where everything is being automated. So it's really important to be able to build our personal brand so that we can build the connections we want to build. And I think people often find this quite overwhelming because it requires a lot of time, energy, whether it's creating content or spending time connecting with people on LinkedIn, finding the right people to connect to, engaging with them. This is quite time consuming and does require your mindset to be in a certain place where you can actually give when you're trying to connect so that you can actually start building a good relationship. The beauty of AI tools is that if you learn how to use them properly, they can save you a lot of time and energy creating this content that you want to put out for you, for your personal brand or for your business, and also in building the connections so that the manual labor that goes behind doing all these things can be dramatically reduced. And if it's reduced, it means you're able to do these things faster. And if you're able to do these things faster with the same amount of quality, if not better, you're going to do it more. And if you do it more, you're going to be seen more. And then, like I always say, the more visible you are, the more opportunities you get. And the more opportunities you get, the more you're going to grow. So we really need to keep that in mind that there are tools available now to help you do anything faster. And building connections is one of the ways you can use tools like AI to help you do these things faster.
Which is really great. I mean, to be honest with you, I remember when I started to build my LinkedIn presence, I spent so much time, first of all, starting to research what do I actually want to post about. Then I was starting to write my actual posts, and then they were a draft. I rewrote them. I took another look at them. And then I remember how much time I spent back then on Shutterstock looking for the right pictures for these posts. And then the subscription I had with Shutterstock gave me, I think, 10 pictures for a month or something like this. So I always waited until the month was over and I could finally renew for my next 10 pictures. And it was a headache. It was a headache. It took me so much time. And oftentimes I also felt just because I invested so much time, I was lacking time for other things that would probably be more important than this, than finding the perfect picture for my LinkedIn post. And it really wasn't satisfactory. And then I actually found amazing tools online that I started to use. And the amount of time that I'm saving can really now be invested, for example, for commenting on other people's posts or for actually really reaching out to people instead of just writing my post, really be in touch with others. So I also have to say that AI tools definitely help me. Do you have a specific recommendation for our audience out there, Abba? Something that they could start using right away?
There are many tools out there and they're all pretty good. You just have to find what works best for you. There are paid tools and there are free tools. Free tools, for example, you could get Chrome extensions very easily, which attach to your LinkedIn and help you write comments. Or you can actually invest in a tool. And one of the ones that I recommend, actually, it's not cheap, it's quite expensive actually, called Taplio. And we'll link it in the show notes. But the beauty of the tool is it's been built to help you do whatever you want to do on LinkedIn more efficiently. So whether that's creating content, engaging with people who are already engaging with you, finding the right people to connect with, helping you put them in one place so that you can add them to a list of leads, so that you can see what they're doing on a regular basis, so that when you reach out to them knowing a bit about what they're doing and how they're engaging with you. And all of this can be done manually, but again, it used to be so much time. So even though these tools cost money, and I'm not going to lie, it does add up if you start using multiple tools, which is why you really need to think about, how can I optimize my time and money using AI? So if LinkedIn is a really important platform for you and you really want to leverage it this year in order to grow your network, build real connections without spending all your time and energy on doing it manually, a tool like Taplio can really help you. So it can help you write content very quickly. It can help you analyze what people are saying in the industry so that you can write off of those conversations. It identifies viral content in your niche so that you can, again, learn from it or engage with the people who are going viral in your network. It helps you find the latest news in your industry again so that you can quickly pick it and post it. So there's so many things it can do for you under one roof that you would do manually otherwise. If you didn't want to pay for a tool like Taplio, totally understandable, you could also use for your content a tool like ChatGPT and train it on your business, train it on your brand. But all it will do is it will help you create a lot of content at scale, and then you go and manually post it. So you just have to work out how you want to do it, how much money you're willing to spend, and what is the return on investment. If you're able to save 3 hours a day with this tool, and the tool costs you, say, $500 a year, is that worth your time? Because again, time is money, isn't it? So if you're able to justify it that way and you're seeing a return on investment, I truly believe that if you do use these tools and you're able to optimize your systems, you will see a higher return on investment. Sometimes it's not easier to directly connect it to the tool, but you will start seeing your network grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Thank you, Abba. There is one thing that I also noticed, specifically when I spoke to people, and it happened a few times for the last couple of weeks, that we would, for example, see that we have commonalities in our LinkedIn connections. Say we are both connected to the same person. Oftentimes, the assumption is that we actually know our connections. So I was asking, "Oh, you're also connected to him. Do you know him?" And then the reply was, "Oh, no, I actually never spoke to him." And this is probably a misconception that we have when it comes to networking, that just because I'm adding someone as a connection on LinkedIn, it doesn't mean that I'm actually really having this person in my network. Yes, he or she might have heard my name and vice versa. But the question really is, what is our real goal behind networking? We want to network most of the time because we want to make valuable connections, meaning we want to get to know the person, we want to know what they are doing, we want to understand whether we can cooperate, like you and me, Abba, how it started last year when we discussed, we met for a coffee, and then this beautiful idea with the podcast was born. But this was also because both you and me, we understood we want to have this connection, we want to have a bond, and that also means we need to follow up. We want to meet a few times, we want to have a few meetings, and only then this whole idea actually became what it is right now. So networking also means be aware of who you really want to be connected to, and then follow up with these people. Make sure that they don't forget you. Make sure that, okay, they are posting or they are commenting on your posts, which is great. They are liking your content. This is also amazing. But make sure that you actually have one-on-one interaction with them, because otherwise they're not really a part of your valuable network.
100%. And also these one-on-one connections that you're building, even if they're not in real life, but they're online, don't automate your conversations with them. Don't send those automated 5 emails, one every 2 days, that's just going to them, because people can see through that. Make sure you take the time and effort to personalize your communication with them. Make it relevant. There's nothing wrong with automating 5 emails. Like if I knew what I want to communicate with Sabine, and if I have like a series of 5, 6 emails that I think would add a lot of value to you, I can automate those, but I need to still spend time writing them and making sure they are offering some value to you so that I can stay connected with you in a meaningful way. So while AI can save you time, money, and energy, it can't build real relationships. It can support you in your process of building real relationships, but it can't build relationships for you. You need your own mind and heart and soul into those relationships. And also, if you're able to save time using AI tools to build these connections online, use the time that you save to take those connections offline and meet in real life. Like, I still believe that the power of in real life connections is so much stronger than the connections you make that are only online. And let's not forget that in this age of technology where it's very easy to just sit at your desk and do everything online, let's not forget to step out and whoever we can meet in person, make that effort. If, like you said, there's a value in that connection and it's really a mutual benefit, it's worth the time investment to do that.
Absolutely. I think this is another really, really good point that you just made, Abba. It's really for us also to become aware of the people that we actually want to have in our network. Who are we actually looking for? What does valuable connection actually mean for me? And oftentimes, especially when we start a business, we would be looking for people who could be potential clients, or we could be looking for people who could help us with our product. So it's very narrow when we think about different criteria of who we want to have in our network. But in the end, a network should really be something that supports us in every area of our life. So even though right now I'm probably mostly interested in finding clients or finding business partners, ultimately I will also, for example, benefit from having a great lawyer in my network, or knowing someone who's really good in accounting, or knowing someone who could, for example, also just be a great friend, someone who is like-minded, someone who I can bounce ideas off with, for example. So when we think of network, it shouldn't just be going into one direction, but it should really be a network that helps us in every single aspect of our lives.
100%. And also on that note, there's something I've changed a lot in the way I network. Rather than try and network with people to just see how I can be supported, which is, of course, one of the main goals of networking, I'm trying to approach networking from a point of view of this person would be really good in my network, but what can I give to them? So rather than going into a networking position with an ask, I'm trying to go into a networking situation with a give. Like, here's what I have to give to you before I ask. I mean, let's be real. Making connections is all about a mutual benefit, right? There is a give and there is an ask. But often we forget about the give. And again, AI can't help you with that. It can put you in connection with the right person, but if you can't offer them value, you can't expect value back. And a good connection is mutual value. Because there are some connections where you feel that maybe you're the only one giving value. And there are connections where it's possible that maybe you're the only person receiving value, which is not a bad thing, but you need to be conscious of that because at some point receiving that value will stop unless you're giving back. And again, AI can give you ideas on how you can maybe offer value, but you do have to do that yourself in order to keep that connection. Keep your network varied, but also keep the value exchange valuable.
That is true. Absolutely. I mean, if you think about any relationship you have in life, it's quite a nice balance of giving and receiving. That's what it should be, right? I'm giving something doesn't mean that I'm immediately expecting you to give something back. But it is, as you said, it shouldn't be one-sided. At some point, the party that keeps giving and giving and giving might stop giving because in a relationship, it's about both sides. It's not just one-sided. And I think that's very important for us to keep in mind, specifically also for many women, because we have to be people pleasers. So we are oftentimes on the end that keeps giving, realizing at some point, why am I the only one here who just keeps going the extra mile and nothing is coming my way? Because that's not a healthy relationship, and that is not a relationship that you want to keep.
Absolutely. And it's easy to forget that in the hustle of life, and it may not be intentional, but it is easy to forget it. So let's make sure that as we're moving forward into this era of technology, let's use it to save ourselves time and energy, but let's not use it to replace. Again, this is a very common theme that goes throughout all our podcasts, is the value of being authentic. And let's not let tools like AI replace us in any way when it comes to our humanness, our kindness, our compassion, our willingness to give, our willingness to offer value, because that's where it's all going to go downhill if that's what we do. I mean, you might have received comments and messages from people on LinkedIn or even emails that are completely auto-generated, and they don't connect with you and they don't really say anything. Before, you could feel that maybe they're for you, but now with all the automations out there, you can pick them up immediately, and it actually does you a disservice. It actually puts you in the pile of, I don't really want to communicate with this person, or I will not look at this until I have time, and that time may never come. Again, the value of being authentic in this day and age of AI cannot be underestimated. So with AI at our disposal now, use it. Use it to save yourself time, money, energy. And I feel like I'm a broken record saying this, but it's really what you need to be using AI for. But don't use it to replace anything that involves your mind or your heart when it comes to building a connection, because it's not going to work for you. It's going to work against you. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you next week.